Welcome everyone to the Live2Test podcast, and this will be our number 4 podcast. And today we will be hosting a friend of ours, is a famous person coming from India, and he loves testing so much. Pradeep Soundararajan. How are you, Pradeep?
I'm doing good and consistent. Thank you for asking. How are you doing? It's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you so much. Yeah, we are trying to adapt to our, you know, new lives, and at the same time, keep on producing and testing also. And with these kind of podcasts, we try to make people relax and make them learn some new things and some new ideas. And you know what triggered this is also, we had with Pradeep, we were in Poland, one of
Mhm.
the biggest conferences in Poland, where I was the program chair and he was one of the keynote speakers. We had several sessions together, and then Pradeep, authored his book. The name is Buddha in Testing, which is like a philosophical way of approaching to testing. And in the book, the very main motto is finding peace in chaos, which triggered me a lot. And then, I invited him to a podcast like this, so that why don't we talk about the philosophy behind testing, the history behind it, how people, until this time did testing, and how we should, evolve ourselves. So thanks again for, accepting our invitation, Pradeep. And please, can you a little bit, introduce yourself to the crowd?
Sure. Thank you very much. This is quite an exciting podcast, to be in. Rumi meets Buddha in testing. So that's a wonderful, thing. Thanks a lot for introducing me to Rumi and Shams. It's a beautiful, aspect where, we're looking at peace and chaos and all of that stuff. To give a little short intro about myself. My last name is pronounced as Soundararajan. Okay,
Soundararajan. Okay,
Soundararajan,
Soundararajan. Yeah.
and I've been a tester since the start of my career. Professional, tester, and I have moved from being a tester to a consultant to a businessman to a product owner, and I believe this has given me quite a good satisfaction in my career as a tester. So I'm quite calm that way, that I'm not seeking things that I used to seek at one point of time, and that helped me go seek a bigger number of things. So that's on a little bit on the spiritual side. On the professional front, I run this company that I founded called Mulya Testing and Apache. Together they build solutions for customers to solve complex testing problems using services, using fantastic skilled testers, using tools like Perfeci and Bagasura. So that's essentially what we've been doing, and and I am, because of my people. So if in your intro about me, you said I'm famous. I think more so I'm just a mouthpiece of people who are working with me. So it's actually their work that is famous. So thank you very much.
Thanks, Pradeep, again. And sorry for pronouncing your surname wrong. So now I learned it. Thank you.
It's so
So as
much,
yeah, as
much.
as you sta- as you stated, the today's title would be Rumi meets Buddha, which is like I think a different kind of podcast, and I haven't seen any software testing podcast about Rumi or even with Buddha.
Yeah.
Those two spiritual men lived a long ago, and who really had many teachings for people, and they wanted to, create a better world. So why? I have a correlation in my mind with Rumi and with Buddha. So they have really very smooth teachings, telling people to love each other and do not complain all the time. So
Yeah.
you need to accept things and you need to move forward. You need to be patient. You need to be resilient. You need to be solid all the time, and you need to share with people what you have. Those are the things. To be honest, we are trying to teach to everyone that we touch in our everyday lives. So
Hmm.
I am also trying to tell people okay, what to do in a technical way, but mostly from the soft skill side. Also we try to evolve people, and that's a hard thing to do, really. And what triggered you with the book, Pradeep? So you wrote a book which is have the center point as Buddha. So what is the idea behind it?
So I was, in my life as a tester, I've gone through many moments, many frustrating moments. And the more I learned about how to test, the more frustrated I became. Yeah, okay.
Nice.
That made me question about, hey, the more I'm learning, the more frustrated I seem to be. Why is this happening? And why is chaos coming my way? And then I went in search of answers in the logical realm, in the lateral realm, and then I happened to cross by the spiritual realm, and that's where I found a lot of answers to the questions I had, not just about my work, but about the whole life in itself, right? Because work is a byproduct of life. And and then I started to apply those things into my life and into my work, and then I realized that everything started to change for me, and it became more peaceful, more calm. And then when the day I got my calmness in the testing space, I felt that I need to share this with people. I need to share how the frustrated tester calmed calmed themselves, calmed
Perfect.
himself and herself, right? So that was the point behind uh,
The
writing
book.
the book. Yeah.
Yeah, it's nice. And one of the quotes, famous quotes from Buddha says that, pain is certain, suffering is optional. So, which is, very important for me. Yeah,
Yeah.
there is pain in everything what we do, but suffering is up to us. Whether we suffer or not, we need to welcome the pain. And also from the Rumi perspective, he has another quote
Mhm.
about the same subject, where he says that what hurts you blesses you, darkness is your candle. So
Yeah.
that's another way. So all those dark moments and hopeless moments, I think they have also, they are bringing us some chance to move on and step forward. So that once we can how can I say, accept those things, I think we would be better testers. And from this point, for 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 maybe last 2 years, I'm talking about the testing profession a lot. And I tend to say that it is the oldest job or profession.
Mhm.
For many people, unfortunately, they say that the oldest profession is prostitution. Yeah, my apologies, but
Mhm.
I don't agree. I
Hmm.
think that, it just, testing just goes back to the first human
Hmm.
beings. For me, I believe that, Adam and Eve, where,
Yeah.
they were in heaven,
Hmm.
living peacefully. They
Hmm.
were given a requirement, direction, which
Hmm.
tells them not to eat the apple. And then, they tested that fact, requirement, and in the end, the test was successful, and the requirement was fulfilled and covered. So I think, as human beings, we have some kind of a DNA, and genetics tells
Yeah.
us to test things, control things, check things, taste the food, control the door if it is locked, check the water if it is cold or hot, whatever we are,
Yeah.
encountering many tests. So from this perspective, I believe that life itself is a test,
Hmm.
is like a test stage where
Yeah.
everyone and everything is being tested. And
Yeah.
all the human beings, every human is a tester. It is, a really strong quotation, but I don't know how do you, when you hear this, how do you react? What is your thinking, Pradeep?
Yeah, so I'm glad you brought out a few things and said that testing is inside life itself, right? So I think the curiosity of being a human and having the senses is what makes people to go experiment. So you mentioned about Adam and Eve as an experiment, where they were curious to find out about the apple, and similarly, I think the senses that we have been able to get as humans makes us curious to test things out. Uh, and why? Because testing is a way of learning something. We test software to learn about it. We continuously test software to continuously learn about it. And with that, I would say that the way our profession has also come by is that it's the software is so complex that not just one person testing it can be helpful, and we need to give feedback to each other. So I think anybody who want to excel, anybody who is focused on excellence, will be continuously testing. And I think uh, and this is certainly. Now here is something, right? You talked about the profession part of it. I think that testing is more than just a profession. if people are
I agree.
paid or if people are paid or not paid, they are continuously testing something, right?
Testing.
So
I agree.
but now, but then I would say that software testing as a profession came by maybe in the last 50, 60 years.
Yeah.
Even before that, I think we were seeing hardware products with a stamp saying tested okay and things like that. So testing as a profession came by probably in parallel with prostitution. I don't know about it though, but that's the way I see it, as that uh, so in summary, testing is within us, is a part of our life. Whether we are paid or not, we continue to do that. But testing as a full-fledged profession in software, must have come by about 50, 60 years. And testing as a profession in the non-software products that existed before software came into picture was there ever since people started building stuff. So I think ever since humans started building, the profession of testing slowly started to actually sprout.
Completely. I agree. You underline it. So it's like coming from our genetics, and also we are lucky people, I believe, so that we are doing our, like natural things, and also are being paid for it, which
Yeah.
is another, advantage. Is like, doing our hobbies and being paid.
Yeah.
uh, from this point, now let's move to another one.
Mm.
You know, we tend to say that assumptions are killing testers. So in order to be a good tester, you need to be curious, you need to be focused on details, you need to try to seek for answers, you need to ask questions, and you need to doubt almost everything. And from that way, Buddha, he said, doubt everything and
Correct.
find your own light. So is in a way telling people to be curious and not assume, but to check and test. So what do you think about it? So about the assumption side of testing and the curiosity.
Great, you actually brought out some good pointers, and you also connected it really well with what Buddha and Rumi might have said about it. So for me, the way I look at it as that many testers are biased towards certain things. Uh, they as a part of profession, there are multiple tangents to the profession. So people want to complete a deadline. So despite they having the ability to absorb everything around them, the deadline makes them defocus from all the details. And there are also things where there are pressure from different stakeholders. There are interrupts from different stakeholders. So this, what happens when all of this is combined to a tester, is that the tester stops focusing on things that needs to be focused on to be able to absorb, and starts channeling that energy into meeting the deadline or answering something that the stakeholder thinks is immediate and things like that. So for me, um, the when I was an independent consultant, I had very short time frame to solve problems that I was hired to solve. And so for me, absorbing the environment mattered quite a lot. So the smell of a carpet can actually tell the culture of a company. The so that
Yeah.
is how that is how a tester should be. Is he is about absorbing everything around, and then building a bigger picture, building a whole picture. So that's what my thoughts are in relevant to what you've said.
Yeah, and in that sense, what I observe is, in some cases, or in majority of the cases,
Hmm.
testers are not one of the most favorite people in the teams. I don't know what you feel about it, but not among the first highest priority, or the favorite persons, because they are telling us the bad news. Maybe most of the people think about. So they are also happy to tell those bad news, because they got happy and they say that, okay, yeah, we did it, and they cheer about it. In the end, could be a little bit disattractive from the other people's perspective. uh, and also about this thing, when we find a bug, we shine mostly. And Rumi, he said that the lion is most handsome when looking for food. So it's just a correlation from me,
Yeah.
because that our food is mostly bugs, and
Yeah.
when we hunt a bug, we shine. But what
Mhm.
about the rest of the team? Do they suffer, or how do you approach this thing? How do we avoid becoming, the least popular person within the teams? Just tell me your vision.
Great. So this is an important question for our industry in the current state and the past and the future. So I see an evolved world right now, where there are a few organizations having understood the value from testing are giving a good equal respect to the testers, but largely there are many big large companies who are still looking at testing as a secondary thing and not as a primary thing. And I think, okay, when organizations pay the price for it is when they start to realize it. And some organizations don't want to pay a price for it because they've already learned it, and that's the reason why they are giving an equal importance. And I'd also like to add that the good news about the way the testing profession is moving is that it's when I started the career, I was certainly applauded for the amazing crashes and hangs and all of those bugs that I find. I was of course testing a firmware that works with the hardware. And there the crash mattered much more because you can't fix a firmware on the field. But now I see that the world trend is that find bugs but also prevent bugs. So I think, if Rumi was alive today, Rumi would say, the lion that prevents hunger would look more handsome than the lion
Could
uh,
be.
that finds the deer.
Yeah, could
Yeah,
be. Could be that way.
yeah, yeah.
And
So that,
Pradeep, thank you. And from this point, I have some other things on my mind. Okay, maybe people are, a little bit not feeling so good about testers around them, and
Mhm,
because that those people are mostly telling bad news. But from a perspective, what Buddha said was, three things cannot hide for long: the moon, the sun,
yeah,
and the truth. This quotation is very famous. The truth
yeah,
is, whether I would tell you the bad news or not,
yeah,
in the end, you will learn it. You will learn it from your customers or from your users. I think, it's better to learn it from me rather than to
yeah,
learn it from your customers. And
right.
what do you think about this? You have anything to say?
Yeah. First of all, I just want to appreciate the amount of homework you've done to put this podcast out. It's just brilliant. I just want to take a moment to appreciate that. And
Thank you.
this beautiful thing that you shared about the three things that can't be hidden. And so the truth, so the sun and the moon um, don't impact people directly. They do impact, but there is a longer term impact, or the impact is indirect. But the truth impacts people, much more. And for those who have been brought up to not accept the facts, not accept the truth, they are certainly going to be in denial. And I would not just say, I would not exclude the testers from it. There are many testers also who don't acknowledge the truth. Right. so
Yeah,
so
yeah, yeah.
so the beautiful thing here is that, are we as humans brought up to learn from the truth when it is being told, whether it's being told by a tester or a developer or actually anybody. Now you also said this thing that they do learn ultimately. They learn it sometimes from the customers, or from the loss that the business gets into and stuff like that. Now, that's the reason why I think some smart people have moved to prevention, and then accepting. So the thing that happens is that, uh, here's something that I've understood. One developer that I worked with got like super frustrated about the number of bugs that I was reporting, which was kind of pointing to his code. And I had a very open chat with him, and then I And that's when I understood to him that every bug that I report, which is accepted for fix, uh, kind of delays the progress that he can make with the new code that he can write. And what say, all of us don't like regression, including the testers, right? All of us don't like regression. So when we report a bug, there is a pushback because that creates regression for the developers, for the rest of the team. So that's when I again, connecting this to Buddha, right? uh, we all say, be, put yourself in others, shoes. But our own biases prevent that from happening. So when I truly put myself in the shoes of a developer, I really understood why there is a pushback. I When I put myself in the shoes of a business owner or a product owner, this thing has fascinated a lot of testers, right? Where they report some supercritical bugs, and the product team makes a decision to say that's okay, we'll still release it. And all the testers are baffled, saying, how can you release with this bug? Right? So that has happened to everybody. And for me, when I really put myself in the shoes of a product owner, I understood that, hey, not making the release will cost much more than making this buggy release, which is not a wisdom that I learned when I was hands-on tester. So I think that it takes a while for people to learn, to accept truths. But the people who have had the experience and are still in denial, um, are are eventually going to be a baggage for the companies. And I think as a fellow entrepreneur in India, Kunal Shah would say that the let's say inefficiency is a bigger employer in this world than efficiency is. So those are my notes on this topic.
A nice point. You know, yeah, uh, yeah. What you said is, also triggered some other ideas on my mind.
Hmm.
So, okay, we have testers. We need them. They are, making our world better, and their job is a really valuable job for us. But after a while, those people, they have like a boredom. How can I say, zone in their brains. After a while, they lose their ambition. They lose their, how can I say, rhythm, and they try to complain about testing in a way, because everyone knows that testing is somehow repetition. It has some repeated things. You need to do the same things for a while, and you need to run the same test cases again and again. you know uh,
Hmm.
and in a way, you need to, how can I say, keep yourself up and running. And
Right.
how can we prevent this? Like Buddha said that endurance is one of the most difficult disciplines, but it is also to the one who endures that the final victory comes. This is a very, I think, great thing. We have also endurance testing in under performance testing.
Right.
So
Right.
endurance is very important in a tester's life. He or
Yeah.
she needs to be up and running,
Yeah.
whether he or she is bored.
Yeah.
He needs to produce more
Mm.
and more. He needs to repeat the same things and still be solid. So how can they do this? How do you feel about it?
Okay. Fantastic. Uh, so there are actually two things here. One is people who don't learn the depth. Uh, they are in shallow waters. Now, so I'm going to give a metaphorical example here. Those who scuba dive know the beauty of the ocean floor, and those who just swim on the surface, they may not even see how far is the is the surface and what's the beauty there. So I think that there are not many scuba divers in this world. Metaphorically, I'm saying that. Uh, and that's the reason why many people don't appreciate testing after a while, because they say, hey, I've been swimming on the top of the ocean water and I don't see anything. Right? And only those who have gone deeper, they appreciate the beauty of it. Now now this is one pointer. The other pointer is about is that I think it's people start off with testing, and sometimes they figure out that it's not for them, and I think we should let those people go. But
I
unfortunately, when they don't get another opportunity and they continue to be in testing, they they have a tendency to to complain about what they're doing and that they're not enjoying. Now, when somebody fresh out of college is exposed to such a person in the career at the start of their careers, they think, oh, it's so true. Look, there's somebody with 5 to 10 years experience saying that testing is not a great profession. And this comes early into the people's mind, so they also don't go and explore the depth, and they also can be biased by what their colleague has exposed them to. So I think I've been very fortunate to work with people who deeply appreciated testing, and that's one of the reasons why I've been able to enjoy. And that's also the reason why I believe people like you and me are building companies and exposing testers to the depth, to 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 places deeper than what we have seen. And I think that's a good service that we are doing to people. And I'm hoping that somebody will build a submarine and show to us uh, beyond what we have seen. So those are
Yeah,
my
is
points.
is a very important point, and I agree totally. We we try to, I like dedicated my professional career to this, to tell people that testing is like an ocean, and once you go deeper and deeper, you will learn very new things, and it's not like a pushing a button and checking something if it is broken or not. It is beyond that. Testing is beyond testing, and testing is more than testing. And in the end, testing includes analysis, design, implementation, coding, databases, computer networks, everything. So not only checking things. When you look from that perspective, and not to act like an ignorant person, I think you will learn so much, and you will continue to learn till you die. You have so many things, millions of things to learn. Even it cannot fit into your entire lifetime. So that
Yeah.
testing is that deep. And from
So
a point of view, you and me, people like you and me, we are doing job interviews, and we are facing with people, from time to time. When I was a white collar person, I was working under payroll for companies. This was my first 10 12 years in my career.
mhm.
We I faced with many different kinds of people. Some of them I end up trying to push them into testing, to tell them that it's a very good discipline. I found myself convincing some guy to come to testing. That's not good. And this is the point where Rumi said, wherever you are and whatever you do, be in love. So it's like, do it with love.
Yeah.
uh, and if anything is worth doing from the Buddha perspective, do it with all your heart. This is the Buddha side of it. So they are, surprisingly, these two men, they produced really a lot of vision to mankind, and they are, when I investigated them further, I was shocked by the correlations and by the perspectives. And from this point, what do you how do you do your selections? Like, you pay attention to qualifications or commitment? From my perspective, I feel that if someone has all the necessary qualifications, but not do not have any love, or do not have any kind of passion in himself, I think would not be a good fit, and would not promote testing in any environment. Will complain about it, and in the end will exit doing it. So from my perspective, commitment matters the most. So if someone is lack of some skill about testing, but has a strong desire in his or her heart about testing, and wants to be a tester and wants to move that career, so I was more attracted by those people. So I tried to how can I say, earn those people, add them to the teams, and try to improve their skills. How do you feel about it? Commitment or qualification?
Cool. So before I actually talk about this one, I based on what you said, that I want to share something. Um, there is a the Rumi and Buddha inside me wants to come out and tell a quote about testing.
Yeah, for sure.
uh, since testing stemmed out of life, those who can define life can define testing.
Nice.
That's
Of course.
right. and
Logical.
and and now trying to give a perspective to what you said about the recruitment and the commitment aspect of it, right? I think the more we understand, the people that we are looking at is we are looking at holistic people. And the reason probably why you felt commitment is more important is because that's what is lacking in many other people that you might have met.
Yes.
So we become sensitive to what is not there, and want that. So for example, uh, if let's say there is commitment but there is no energy, then we will start seeking commitment plus energy. If there is commitment and energy but no skill, we will start seeking commitment, energy, and skill. So today in the market, at least in India, where we do a majority of recruitments for testers and SDETs and all of them. um, um, so I think everybody who is on the job market has understood what are the skill sets generally everybody is looking at. So everybody's profile has the same set of skill sets, and there is very little differentiator from that sense. But I think when doing a face to face interview, uh they their uh, it's a very subconscious thing that I actually see. So in many cases, half my interview is over by the time they come and sit in front of me. Right?
Yeah.
Because you know you know merely skills can't help somebody succeed. It is a holistic understanding of things, about the passion, about energy, about the professionalism. uh, I know there are some super skilled testers, but sometimes they behave very very unprofessionally, that none of the other skilled folks wanted to work with them. And there are people with, let's say, anger issues, fantastic testers, but anger issues, nobody wants to work with them. So I think it is what I look for is how holistic this person is, and not about how sharp this person is in one particular aspect. Yeah. So
I
that's
agree,
my.
my friend. Yes. Very good points you are emphasizing. Pradeep, we need to continue this podcast series, like, philosophical side of it. Maybe we need to do more and more podcasts because, I have so many things. The
Hmm.
time is passing. So
Yeah.
let me jump to another thing.
Hmm.
You know, uh, Testers, from a perspective, those people, when I experienced that in my entire career, I saw that, some of those people are brittle. They try to be encouraged all the time. They are seeking for some nice words. They are, looking for encouragement in the end, and they are criticizing it. No one is telling me how good I am. No one is, appreciating my work. So I am, putting my effort to the team, but in the end, I haven't heard anything good from the team. I am lost in the dark. So I'm no one in the team. No one is paying attention to me. Just, they are, how can I say, they move to the polar end. Then they try to, how can I say, they couldn't, find a point to move on in the end. So this is, from my perspective, is like, I don't like it. So not all the time you hear those good things, and what
Hmm.
Rumi said here is, I am telling it to the testers: you are not a drop in the ocean, guys. You are the entire ocean in a drop.
Yeah.
I think this is, you know this, expresses all my feelings about testing. If you feel that you are a drop in the ocean, you are in a wrong way. But why not? You are an ocean in a drop. So this
Yeah.
is what you need to look at. So just tell me. And also, some people are looking for encouragement, people telling them good things, and also some other people are looking for, someone should come and teach me this, someone should come and guide me on this, someone should come and train me on that, so on and so forth. So in the end, it's your own job and duty. So you need to somehow walk alone. And like Buddha said, no
Hmm.
one saves us but ourselves. No one can, and no one way.
Hmm.
We ourselves must walk the path.
Hmm.
And also, from the Rumi point of view, he said, as you start to walk on the way appears. But
Yeah.
most of the testers, they are still, and they try to have everything coming to their table, onto their table. We need to serve them. They need to learn all the things, hear good things. What do you think about it? Do we need those? Is like a fuel in a car. Is like a gasoline in the car. So they tell us that, yeah, without gasoline we cannot move, my boss. Something like that. Just tell me, what do you think?
Great. So there is a Rumi's quote uh, as a simple answer to this, and Pradeep will complicate it. Okay.
Yeah, of course.
so so Rumi also says, "What hurts you blesses you. Darkness is your candle." And that I feel is a perfect answer to the question that you asked. But since I am not Rumi, I'm going to complicate the answer.
Of
Okay.
course,
So
do it.
so 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 I think um, connecting this again to the spiritual thing that we are also discussing. This is not just with the testers. This is with the way the human upbringing is happening in many places across the world. um, since we don't seek internally, since we don't go on a journey inside, we've and it's since the journey inside feels very scary, we want a validation from the external world that we are good, because deep inside we know we are not. So we are at least hoping that the validation comes from outside. And so one important thing that I have, what's it, been able to embrace in my life uh, at a mid stage, I would say that, you know, at the age of 30, is that I've been able to embrace a failure as it is. And I don't have a, I don't have a shame if I don't know something. But for a lot of people, they feel, they feel afraid about their position if they were to have worked on something for a long time and they don't know about it. So I think, that's one of the reason why, when I was building Mulya, and in a few years after I realized what I'm trying to build, um, I reset the culture of the company to say that, um, the more open you are uh, to learning about yourself and the mistakes, the better you can grow. And instead of, punishing people for the mistakes, we try to celebrate it. We try to, like, for example, I want to give you an example. There's a, there's a guy working as an SDIT, with us. He got super curious to write some code for production, and he had access to production code. So he tried fixing a bug and pushing it to production. And guess what? It broke. um, and uh, Many people would have said, "Oh my God, you shouldn't have done this." But we said, "Fantastic! How many testers do we know who would dare to do this? So you should certainly be celebrated." And this changed the perspective of the tester, and this tester has become one of the very important, testers for this project and team and all of that stuff. So I think celebrating people, um, uh, people's uh, learning, which is a very humbling experience, is what the world should be doing. But instead, we celebrate success. We give overemphasis to success, and that's what makes everybody want success. And people don't realize that success can only come the more you learn to accept failure. So those are so that's me complicating what Rumi said in a very simple way.
Yeah, not that complicated, my friend. You are, you are the current century's philosopher. Could be.
well
Yeah,
well
could be.
I the moment if I accept that, that's it, my mind will stop working. So I will say we are all fellow philosophers.
Yeah,
um some of us know to put it in words, some of us don't.
could be. Yes, agree. So it was a really nice conversation with you, Pradeep. So many things coming into my mind. In order to keep it not that long, to see what will happen, if people will listen to this or not, I'm not sure, but
Mhm.
I will listen to it again.
Right.
So just why, what, how can I, close it down is like, uh, so I try to tell testers that, okay, you try to focus on yourself rather than focus on the external entities, looking for very nice things or telling people their faults. Instead, we need to look at the mirror, and that will be the first step to our progression, I think. So where Buddha said that it is easy to see the faults of others but difficult to see one's own faults. So this
Yeah.
is my first thing to say to the testers. And also, my final word could be, is like a journey. I tend to say that in my also in my trainings and in my sessions, that test is an infinite journey. So it will go towards infinity, and throughout that journey, most of the time you would be alone. Most of the time you will have no support. Most of the time you will be discouraged. Most of the time maybe you will have no appreciation.
Mm.
So like Rumi said, it is your road and yours alone. Others
Mhm.
may walk it with you, but no one can walk it for you,
Yeah.
guys. So this is my last word for the today's podcast, and I am really very happy to have you here, Pradeep.
Thank you.
You are
Thank you.
the number one correct person for doing such a podcast like crazy like me. So thanks for accepting it. Thanks for your valuable thoughts, and just pass it to you now. Please do the closing, and yeah, we will meet again.
Well, I really appreciate the effort that you've put into to make this happen. And as we have discussed, prior to the podcast as well, this is a very different and a unique, topic for the testing community. Okay, not sure how many of them would be super excited about it, but I believe at some point everybody becomes a spiritual person.
Yeah,
maybe maybe we have become in our 40s, and they will become in their 50s, or or so. So I would say, rather than a final thoughts, I would say, semi-final thoughts, because I'm not concluding anything in this life. I'm just continuously learning about it, and so I would still love to be in the semifinals forever. So my semi-final thought about the topic that we have been discussing is this, and this is also something I've shared in the book. I think a calm mind can see more, and most of us are not calm. So when we calm ourselves, we can see more, and when we see more, uh, we don't need many hours of learning. A few seconds of watching the way things are will make us um, a brighter, lighter, and hence more useful to this world. There are many people who think that they don't know much, or only experts or so-called experts should share things. I think everybody knows something valuable, and I think people should share whatever little that they know, because anybody who knows anything knows only little. So with that, um, thanks to four folks actually. First is Ahmed, okay, to be supporting us on this. Second is you, Baris, and then Rumi and Buddha, who gave us some very good direction, and life understanding. And there are a few more people um, in different things. So thanks a lot to all of them. If somebody has not forwarded this podcast and has listened to it till this moment, thank you very much. uh, you really brightened both of our lives. Bye.
thank you, Pradeep. So thanks to everyone, and hope to meet you again with another subject. So that will be 100% very interesting with you. So thanks to everyone, and be healthy, stay healthy, and be happy. So thank you.